In Los Angeles, police tactical units are shifting their focus toward neighborhood trap shops operating in plain sight, often right next door to legal, fully licensed dispensaries. The authorities are being outpaced. Today in LA County, there are almost 10 times as many illegal dealers selling under the table as there are legal storefronts. This is a total market collapse, but it has nothing to do with a lack of consumer demand. The billion-dollar corporate empires built during the Green Rush are currently being dismantled by a combination of local street dealers and the very state government that invited them in. When Colorado and Washington first legalized recreational use in 2012, Wall Street saw a gold mine. Investors and venture capital firms poured billions into the sector, betting that legal weed would rapidly scale to rival the alcohol and tobacco industries. Those projections hit a federal wall. Because cannabis remains a Schedule I drug, these corporations are blocked from standard banking, federal tax deductions, and the interstate commerce necessary for any modern business to achieve scale. This chart shows the raw math of that isolation. Since inventory cannot cross state lines to meet demand elsewhere, local markets became oversaturated. In California, the wholesale price for a pound of premium cannabis plummeted from $3,500 to just $500 in 4 years. Corporate giants like MedMen responded by building high-end Apple stores of weed, fueled by massive debt. They bet that branding and luxury storefronts would build loyalty, only to drown in interest payments when their revenue stalled out. The corporate model relied on a level of growth that federal law made impossible. By 2024, these giants found themselves trapped in a commoditized death spiral they couldn't outspend. State politicians viewed legalization as a massive, never-ending revenue pump, a way to fund flashy public projects without raising property taxes on their constituents. This diagram shows the compounding tax trap they placed on retailers. In Los Angeles, the consumer pays a 15% state excise tax, followed by a 9.75% sales tax and a 10% city tax. Because these taxes compound on top of one another, they create an immediate 35% markup on every legal purchase. That means a customer pays roughly $9 more for a vape cartridge and $8 more for an eighth of an ounce of flour, just to buy it legally. The state uses the existence of the black market to justify larger enforcement budgets, raiding trap shops for the cameras. Yet they refuse to lower the tax rates that drive customers underground in the first place, as doing so would admit their revenue projections were a failure. This punitive tax code functions as the black market's greatest financial subsidy, effectively punishing the few operators who try to play by the rules. While the corporations retreat from California, a few independent operators are quietly turning a profit in the world's most competitive market. At Mecca, the edge is vertical integration. By growing and distributing her own flower, the owner bypasses the volatility of the wholesale market and ensures the quality matches the high price her customers pay. Across town, Herba survives through an asset-light consignment model. The store doesn't buy product up front. Instead, brands pay for shelf space and only collect revenue when the product sells. This model eliminates Herba's inventory risk entirely. Then there's Herb, a delivery service that operates without a physical storefront. By employing a lean team of W-2 drivers, they avoid the 24/7 security costs and high rents that have bankrupted brick-and-mortar competitors. These survivors don't rely on venture capital or massive advertising. They rely on grueling, hyper-local community knowledge, spending their days on neighborhood councils and personally expecting every shipment of flour. They've proven that the only way to survive the crash was through hands-on business acumen, the exact opposite of the disconnected, scale-at-all-cost strategy used by the corporate giants. The macro ripple effect is undeniable. Multi-state corporate operators have effectively fled California, abandoning the most lucrative weed market on earth in pursuit of easier, uncontested dollars in newer legal states. The Green Rush is over. The market that remains is perfectly competitive, fragmented, and ruthless. The collapse of this multi-billion-dollar sector demonstrates a specific failure of policy, rather than a failure of the business itself. Politicians attempted to extract maximum revenue from the industry before it ever reached economic equilibrium. They focused on collecting license fees and taxes to fund their own career-advancing projects, effectively killing the host they claimed to be helping. This proves the ultimate lesson of the cannabis collapse. In America, politics follows the economy, and state greed will always incentivize a thriving underground. The case study of cannabis reveals a core rule. When the cost of legal compliance exceeds the cost of illegal operation, the black market will always win. Now, state governments are eyeing new, modern vices to plug their budget deficits, regulating everything from mobile sports betting to the billion-dollar digital data brokering industry. If the government could not control a physical plant without triggering a massive black market, they have no leverage against digital markets, where there are no doors to kick down.